Do you guys think you know who the most broken champions are going to be for 13.7? You don't, bro. You know who does? Me, mate. I'm the prophet. Now, in today's video, guys, and this is Eags, by the way, what's going on? In today's video, 20 most broken champions for 13.7. This is based off the changes that are coming in 13.7 and also who's strong now, because some of these champions, yes, won't be actually impacted by anything, and they will still continue to be carving up the rift. So yeah, to know who these 20 champions are going to be, and because I'm such a nice guy, I'll probably give you like a tip for each of them. But yeah, you can probably also scroll down to the comment section where someone is typing in timestamps. The start will be 0000, the end will be, I don't know, something like 10 something. But yeah, anyway, guys, if you do actually want to improve at this game, the timestamps this video is not going to help. Yeah, even if I do give you like one tip, it might actually help you. But in terms of actual like learning the game and getting better, that's what you want to do. You want to learn how to play the game, not actually how to play a champion. Like the builds and the runes, for sure they might help, but they're the setup. That stuff you can easily research, but it's not actually going to like change how you play a game, right? Yes, okay, like if you take Grasp, it's more of like short trading rather than if you take something like Conqueror, right? There are certain specificities there, but for the most part, it means nothing. Sign up to the GameLeap website. I coach people to tier climbs on the reg, and I actually upload kind of like condensed highlights from those sessions where I talk about what the student has learned and the key points from the coaching sessions, and that's for every single elo, by the way. Even if you're climbing from Master to Challenger, Diamond to Master, Gold to Platinum, Bronze to Silver, Unranked, we have everything on our website, so check it out. Links down below. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the champions. Now, honestly, I think these top two champions will be the top two in 13.7, these being Malphite and J4. Nothing is actually changing for these champions, by the way. Well, actually, something might be for Jarvan, so you're actually getting kind of indirectly buffed, because with Death's Dance, you're actually getting the ability haste back, and it's pretty much getting reverted. Now, Death's Dance, you won't get this as maybe like a first, you could maybe get it as a second item. Into the late game with Death's Dance as J4, especially against those attack damage teams, it's a really good item, right? So J4 is going to be better off, and he's already like one of the strongest champions. So Malphite is also here, guys, because of the recent W buffs, right? If you go Frostfire on this guy, it's like unkillable. With Grasp, if you're taking like Comet into a ranged champion. By the way, that's important as well, guys. Like if you're playing against someone who you're not going to be able to auto attack that much, please take Comet, because your Q is actually going to be way more important than your W. But yeah, Malphite, J4, I don't think anyone can argue with these two. Now moving down to the bot lane here, we've got 3 AD carries on this list. Now the first of these is Jinx, because of the recent buffs, okay, especially to your actual attack speed. This has made Jinx really strong. Now other AD carries also like aren't really that good at the moment. Like, can we think of a really OP AD carry apart from Jinx and the other two I'm going to mention? Probably not. Maybe like Draven's a little scary. Caitlyn got giga nerfed, right? Ashe is like better for sure, but is she like OP? I don't think so. Like, I think Jinx has a lot of free lanes, and you can get to the mid to late game, your Kraken spike, your Infinity Edge spike, and just take over games. Even if that's with the lethal tempo nerf recently, that hit every AD carry. Same with BT. BT isn't even that important on Jinx, especially if you play a range and have your screen turned on. So she's the first of 3 AD carries. Number 2 is Zara. Now, if you're against a close range team, guys, playing Jinx might be a little bit scary in terms of them having engaged, right? So if they have something like Nautilus, J4, Jinx, scary to play. That's why you pick Zara. Even though this champion has got recently nerfed in terms of your E, in terms of the damage and the cooldown, doesn't really matter too much because she counters so much in the bot lane right now because it's really an engage meta. Zara, that is just what you're built for, to counter engage. So she's the second AD carry. The third here is Twitch, and Twitch is really here just for the stats, I think, because I don't know how like strong Twitch is in terms of like getting out of lane and actually playing well, because I actually think like during the laning phase, it's pretty easy to hard bully him. But like I said before, right, like lots of lane bullies aren't that good anymore. So something like a Caitlyn, Draven isn't performing as well as he was. He's still very strong, but I just think Twitch as well, kind of like Jinx, you can pick this guy and get out of the laning phase into the mid to late game, kind of free of charge. So he's the third AD carry. Now moving to the mid lane here, we've got 3 mid laners who are based off attack damage. The first of these is Akshan. Now for Akshan, I kind of mentioned in our tier list video, I think this guy is really popping off right now. Like his win rate has actually improved by like 0.5%, close to 1% in this patch. And again, I just think it goes back to that engage, because Akshan, your big cug, is just getting outranged, right, and not being able to actually get into the enemy team, or it's just too risky to. Now if you have something like a Nautilus on your team in the bot lane, you have something who can create space for you, especially with the enemy team diving into you, as long as you know, don't actually just get one shot, you can pump out your damage with your passive and of course with the rest of your kit. So yeah, Akshan in the mid lane as well, insane prio, amazing roaming potential, and really high snowballing potential. He has to be here. Now the other 2 attack damage mid laners, Talon is here because of the recent buffs, right? Particularly to his actual W's mana cost, it's really helped your laning phase. Also to your passive. This means that if you can actually play Talon well, proccing his passive now, especially in the mid to late game, because it really increased there by like 30 damage, that is big. You will be getting more kills, and yeah, even in Challenger right now, you guys can check the stats. He's like an S+ tier champion, close to a 55% win rate. Pretty nutty, so Talon's here. And the final attack damage mid laner is Yasuo. Now, why is Yasuo here? Because he's getting buffed. Now his shield from his passive is getting buffed, and also your E is getting buffed in the sense that you're going to actually be able to stack this up to 4 times. So maybe like an E max Yasuo is back. This is really scary for champions in the mid lane, particularly those ranged champions. Yasuo with an E max being able to deal that damage at 4 stacks. If you're playing something like a Syndra or an Orianna, watch out for Yas in 13.7. But let's just say you want to play a magic damage dealing mid laner. Well, Annie is the best, guys, even though she is getting nerfed. But Annie's support is getting nerfed because her E is getting nerfed, right? Mid lane Annie, you don't care about your E. As long as your Q is going to be dealing the same damage, as long as Tibbers is still like unkillable and you can put your E on him, even if E is getting nerfed, like who cares? Annie in the mid lane is just such a big force right now. And she will be in 13.7. Kind of like I said for Akshan, right? All the close range stuff. Annie loves it. So yeah, if you need a bit of magic damage in the mid lane, Annie is definitely the best pick. Now moving into the jungle here. Another champion who loves close range fights. This is Bel'Veth and a close range meta. Yes, this champion from the Void is just the ultimate Void monster, an ultimate Rift monster at the moment. Don't know what that was, but yeah. But it's true, right? Like you want champions to jump into you. This is why Bel'Veth in most elos is like an S+ tier champion, really good win rates. And honestly, I could see why people would want to ban this champion. Super annoying. Now, Echo is another annoying champion who's got a pretty like decent ban rate and pick rate in the majority of elos. And the reason being is because he's just innately strong right now and has been for ages. Also because of all the engage at the moment, Echo loves it, especially if you have some sort of like support with setup, right? Or your teammates have setup. Echo really enjoys this. Also the ability haste recently that got put into Nash's Tooth is just better for you. So Echo is here. And that's the same for Evelynn as well. Not in terms of Nash's Tooth, but just being innately strong. The buffs I think that came in towards the end of season 12, right? Pretty sure that was Evelynn buffs. Evelynn has just been frothing it since. She's S+ tier in every single elo. And I know I may have said that for a lot of these champions, but that's why this is like a top 20 champions countdown. Like these champions are going to be on this list. And Evelynn, just like Echo, she is innately broken. So she's got to be here as well. Now moving to the top lane. I know we talked about Malphite earlier, but that's because I think he's like almost the undisputed #1 champion. These ones might be a little bit more disputed, or specifically like Fiora and Riven here. Death's Dance getting the ability haste back is amazing for you. Like these champions in the mid to late game, particularly something like a Riven, right, with all the ability haste she'll be getting. That's if you go Gore Drinker actually, but most Rivens here are going Eclipse, which is really why she's here as well. And anyone who has played against like Eclipse, Ravenous Hydra, Riven knows how broken this stuff is. So Riven has to be here. Same with Fiora as well. Grasp the Undying, Mana Flow, Scorch, that stuff is all still there. And because tanks are getting played a little bit more, Fiora just has to be there. She crushes so many champions at the moment. So that's why she's in this video. And yeah, the other top laner here being Jax. The hockey stick, how can I not put him on this video, guys? He's got to be here. Broken, we have to mention Jax. Now moving down to the bot lane, 4 supports actually. Look at this. Wow, let's have a party. First of all, we have Blitzcrank. If you guys want to snowball the bot lane out of control, best champion to pick by far is Blitz. Like if I was playing support, 100% I'm picking this dude. He counters so many things, and even like kind of hook champions he does very well against. Something like a Pike you can insta blow up, something like a Thresh you can insta blow up, and these are pretty popular champions. Also Enchantresses, Lad 1 rocket grab, boom, goes the bot lane, boom, goes the game, you're gonna carry. Now, Nautilus is the other one. So if you want to play like a budget Blitzcrank, but no, yeah, I don't actually think he's like a budget Blitz. He's a very, very strong champion because of the buffs at the start of season 13 to him, especially to your passive damage and your ease damage as well. This has made his all-ins even better. And yeah, Naut's got to be here. Does really well into a lot of champions, right? One of these champions is up next, this being Senna. Senna is an unreal champion, guys, if you're playing against passive laners because you pretty much outscale everything, right? And Senna's power has also been enhanced recently by those buffs that came in. Whether it was to like your actual attack speed, whether it's to like your ultimate space damage and its cooldown, which is great for lethality Senna, which is, yeah, probably the best way to play her. You can even go stuff like Heart Steal, which is really obnoxious, but it's actually pretty good. Yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff you can do on this champion. And yeah, like I mentioned, she does so well into a lot of passive lanes, which is still pretty popular. So if you see stuff like, I don't know, Janna, if you see stuff like Lulu, Sona, Soraka, like Enchantress are being picked, Senna, doesn't even matter who your AD carry is, just lock her in. And the last support, guys, is Recon. Now, this one is probably like the most blind pickable support because in terms of counter picking Recon, it's pretty difficult. This champion doesn't really have like many hard counters, if any, and counters a lot of things. And just innately speaking, like we talked earlier about how Echo and Evelynn, right? It doesn't really matter what happens to the meta. These champions will still be very good because they're strong. Recon is in exactly the same boat. The buffs in season 13 have made this dude so good, especially with Zara being meta as well, pushes him up into the top tier. Now, the final champion, guys, to talk about here, this is kind of like a off-road one. Not really sure what I mean by that, but yeah, like low-key broken type thing that most people I don't think have realized how broken this will be. And yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, guys, please leave a like down below and also make sure to leave a comment with your thoughts on this video. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But yeah, the final champion to mention here is Khazix. Now, if you're a Khazix main, I want you commenting if you actually like the adjustments. Now, the adjustments are as follows. Your ISO range, or the enemy champion's isolation, is going to be smaller, which means you can actually be closer to them and get your isolation. I think this is massive because all your damage is pretty much your isolation. Like that is the raw damage for Khazix. your W is slow getting nerfed. Who really cares about this? It's still going to be slowing them enough for you to actually do what you want to do. And in terms of the game itself, like a Khazix W evolve, like, you know, slowing someone for 80, 90%, like, is that actually healthy for the game? Of course not, right? Like, you're an assassin. You don't need a slow that does that. And if you really do have like just a W evolve fetish, you can go something like Serilda's Grudge as well. But yeah, also your ultimate lasting longer, so you can use the second and third charges. I think it's really, really good. Yes, Khazix might not be amazing at the moment, but these buffs I think are going to put him in the top 20 champions. I think it's a pretty fair assessment. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you in our next Season 13 upload. This has been Iggs. Peace.